First, apologies, I've been slacking on the fantasy news angle. Don't worry, a lot, and I do mean a lot is coming, so just be patient. But let us get it started up in here. So, the great Rosamund has finally spoken. Some of the other stars of Wheel of Time have spoken out, including Rafe. I'm going to put Rafe's statement up. It's pretty much bureaucratic speak. Well, you didn't know what was happening. They got good ratings, great cast, great crew. It's such a great story, and he hopes that in the future it will be picked up, yada, 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 but he's not too hopeful. Still, the SaveWOT thing is going. It's about, I think at last count, 160,000 signatures. So it's getting up there. But now let's get to Miss Pike. What did she say? Well, it's a little bit of a cryptic message. In her Instagram, she's like, I felt the end was coming, and she was in a rage with the sky. And the picture has her in full regalia, a costume, and we're like, okay, all right, And again, I don't want to totally spoil the books or the show, so there have to be minor spoilers, but essentially where they left off in season 3 is she had a major battle with one of the more Forsaken, and she survived. The books are a little differently. They are playing with the timeline and playing with a whole lot of other things, so, and there we go. But now with season 3 being cut off, don't quite know where we're going, because it obviously was made to leave us with a cliffhanger. Again, in the books, it's a little differently. There are cliffhangers, but not like they set up in the show. So, what to make of all this? Well, she's not officially yet backing the SaveWOT movement, as far as I know. And it seems like she was aware that there were some grumblings. Again, there seems to be two sides here, that the internal metrics they were looking at were fine in terms of ratings, because a lot of the fans are going, the ratings were amazing. Don't quite know if it's true. Streaming numbers are a little bit all over the place. But yes, it was in the top 10 with Amazon, and it seemed to be getting a lot of momentum. But again, that didn't seem to be why the show was ultimately axed. Namely that they felt they were glad where they was going, weren't complaining about Rafe or even the changes, but they wanted the numbers to be at a higher or better level in terms of all their metrics. They're looking at everything, guys. They're looking at Instagram, Twitter, engagement, merchandise, and it's from that angle that Amazon, Sony, and again, people keep forgetting this, it's a production company. I think it's SaveWOT. They control the rights. So presumably all these people coming together said, no, we just don't see what would justify the budgets. Because again, this is a big show. Fantasy shows, they do spend a lot of money. So it's not just ratings alone or popularity. It's all these things coming together. They decided to pass on the show. Now, it's a lot of rumors and theories that they are going to pick it up again, but they want to negotiate. Namely, they're not picking it up for now. Maybe Disney Plus, maybe Hulu, maybe Apple, again, obviously Netflix, but at this point, nothing official. It's not clear why, because you think, why are they just leaving this on the shelf? But again, there's a lot of corporate politics that either people at the Sony Corporation or people at Amazon don't want to sell it again. I mean, part of the thing is that you can only see Wheel of Time through Amazon, but they are changing the rules slightly. Like Rings of Power, they are starting to allow it to be licensed out, so you don't have to necessarily be an Amazon Prime member to see Wheel of Time. So it's a little bit all over the place. And some people were saying that, well, maybe this is just a turn against fantasy, right? Given Game of Thrones Season 8, backlash against that. House of the Dragon Season 2, also a lot of fans were soured on that, did not like what they did with House of the Dragon. That's true, but Amazon is going to develop another fantasy series. So it's not clear this is part of a backlash against fantasy per se, that the networks and streamers went overboard trying to grab up all these fantasy IPs and went too far. Now there's kind of like a correction with the market. Not clear. There's still a lot of fantasy being marketed. Apparently that How to Train Your Dragon is about to come out. That may do very well. Lilo and Stitch is about to make $1 billion. May take a little bit of time, but it's going to make $1 billion. So yeah, it's unclear what exactly Wheel of Time means for the wider fantasy genre. And where does Rosamund fit in all this? Well, at this point, she was not just the star of the show. She was also narrating the books. Some people are hoping she continues the audio versions, although from what I understand, there's already some beloved narrators who have already done the books. And there we go. Again, it's unclear what the contract is, whether she will finish out Moraine in the books, but for now, her time with Moraine is over. And now we have to deal with, which I know some people don't like, the toxic side of the fandom. And I'm with them halfway because the change is made. And again, I want to be upfront. I am more of a Frank Herbert kind of guy, more in the Stephen King camp. I do admire and respect what Robert Jordan did, but again, I'm not as obsessed with changes or even the Wheel of Time itself as much as other fans. But still, the fans who were really upset at divergences from the original do have a point. I mean, these changes were both small, moderate, and big. Some of them seem to be little nitpicks about small parts of the clothing, costumes, the exact appearance, which again can be important. I mean, I'm a bit of a purist with Spider-Man. I prefer them never to touch the costume or the original mythology, but even Sam Raimi messed up with certain things like, you know, the web slingers, like why he made it a more biological thing than just making them mechanical, and having MJ live next door. I don't know why he did that. So yeah, I can understand being a purist, but these are massive books, so changes were going to happen. But I think decidedly the majority of the fandom that hated the show didn't understand why so many changes happened so rapidly. So they clearly are cheering. But I just saw an essay by one of them. He's a very kind of anti-woke guy. And now he said, I don't think we're ever going to see Wheel of Time again. No, this is a very popular series. The books have sold millions of copies, so there's no doubt other people in Hollywood will look at this. But will it be the same scope, the same budgets, or even the same way of doing this? Maybe not. Even if you hated Wheel of Time, what they did, there were some things on the show that were pretty impressive, like the costumes. The music I was not too impressed with, but again, they did put up a serious amount of effort for the show. Again, at certain points it was lacking, but will they put on something on this grand a scale? That I don't know. I mean, the possible future may be a series of films. They're looking at the video games now. Again, this is a big world. It's been here with us for decades. It does have a massive fan base, so no doubt about it. They're going to try again. But will they pick up this story? I think, and I'm going to do a bigger video, fuller video on this, if it is going to be really with a lot of changes. There are some miracle examples, like, yes, Westworld. I've heard about Arcane. It does happen. They reboot things. Now Buffy's coming back. But again, Buffy's a great example. We just lost another Buffy actor. If it's going to happen, even in a few years, I doubt the cast can remain the same thing. It will have to have some major and minor changes. So that was already a problem with the show itself. They lost Matt. They had to replace the Matt actor. It was quite a big change. I do think the person who filled in that gap did a good job, but that is something like you're just going to be like spinning your head. Again, it has happened. Star Trek, right? Next Generation, it lost people. People left the show. They had to replace people, right? Even within the first couple of seasons. So it does happen. You can change the cast, change even major things, costumes, everything, and it actually turns out better. So maybe this will be like TNG all over again, but TNG was continuous. This is a very weird example that they stopped it. If they pick it up, I mean, can they even afford Rosamund? I don't know. Will she negotiate a price? It's a lot of questions, So at this point, we're left with cryptic messages and a lot of hope, but definitely part of the fandom wants it back. But the other part of the fandom is pretty obvious, like they're celebrating its demise, but are fearful we will not see Wheel of Time again for decades. I don't think it's going to take that long, but if it's going to be resurrected, it's going to be in a really weird new format, and I think both sides are going to be decidedly disappointed when it returns, if it ever does return.